Welcome in, Gemini community. Soul Tigress here with a special story for this curious community. So I'm not sure what's going to unfold in this community. All I know is that I've been pulled to use quite a bit of amethyst. Amethyst. I'm going to show you this big one. Boom. Amethyst and rose quartz. Amethyst and rose quartz. So I'm very curious as what's going to happen with this reading. So Geminis, awesome, adaptable Geminis. I've called in y'all's spirit guides, your ancestors, as well as the angels, divine and universal energies to be a part of the stories as guides and protectors. All right. So let's jump in and see where it's going to go. So Moonology, whenever it's up, it's going out first. So let's see, what is it that wants to come out? Ancestors, what is it? New moon in Virgo, a time to give rather than to take. All right, let's see what's going on. Anything else want to come out? Anything else want to come out? So, Geminis, have you been busy? Hard work is going to pay off. New moon in Capricorn. Interesting. 2 new moons in a row. Has this community been working towards achieving a goal or a step in a new direction? A new romantic cycle begins. New moon in Libra. Is there balance to a connection that this Libra is smitten with? Meaning they're intimate? I want to say there's a lot of ways that you can be intimate. It doesn't have to be always like sexual. Was there a goal in a certain connection with somebody, place, person, thing? Nothing will come of this situation. And that is a void of course moon. Was there a way that was happening? Old habits or something that was not bringing balance? So now you've been grinding to take these new steps. And maybe these new steps are towards yourself. Remember, Virgo's all about health and hygiene. Ooh, that's a lot. Let's see. So what we do see is show the world the real you. And that's a full moon in Aquarius, being authentic. A win-win outcome is forecasted, full moon in Libra. Again, balance. Having to do with balance. And what we're not seeing too much is this is the muck. This is the hard work right here. This is why this card comes into play. Nothing will come of this situation. So I'm hearing if you feel like there's temptation, temptation, void of course. Void of course. That's what it says down there with the moon. But this has to do with it's time to release negativity. Something you've been holding on to. Full moon in Scorpio. Hold your vision. Fixed moon. Putting in the work to where you want to be, where you want to go. And emotions are running high. Supermoon. Right now, everything's feeling amplified. For this, Gemini, everything is feeling amplified. When things are feeling amplified, and you is on a Gemini's last nerve, you don't even have to be on the last nerve. You on the last nerve, you run. Just run. Run, run, run. They're not going to hurt you. Not physically. But you ever have two people arguing against you at once? That is the power of Gemini. They will make you feel like you surrounded. And for a Gemini who is trying to evolve, a Gemini who's trying to bring on different traits, different habits, different ways of going about things, it could be really hard, especially if there's stress with family, stress with work, stress with kids. It's going to amplify everything that this Gemini is holding on to. Yes, I know this is the Scorpio, but a Gemini, oh buddy, there's a reason why a Gemini don't got that tail. I'll tell you that right there. There's a reason. Ooh, mofos would be missing. And I feel like this Gemini in this story is like, I'm trying. I know it comes back to me taking care of myself. I know it comes back to me slowing down. Because they know when they speed off, nothing's going to come of that. Nothing's going to come of that. And Geminis, don't be hard on yourselves. You're an air sign. You are an air sign, a mutable air sign. And I'm not totally versed in everything, so this is what my intuition would say, is that Geminis being mutable love to just be at that kind of chill. You take them out of that chill, that's when you're going to get one of the other personalities. In mythology, both personalities are warriors. So it just depends on what warrior you want to show up to the party that day. Messing with a Gemini. Very loving, very caring, would give you the shirt off their back. But do not cross a Gemini. And that's not a bad thing. That is not a bad thing. Remember, a Gemini will give you the shirt off their back. And you get enough people asking for the shirt, asking for this, asking for that. People get worn down. Geminis are movers. Geminis are multitaskers. So it's most likely not just going to come from one person, place, or thing. This is a sign that naturally has a lot on its plate. So sometimes everything goes awry. And it's in those moments that you get tested. So just remember, Gemini, it's a time of rather give, and that's giving to yourself. And saying that and pulling out some of these tarot cards for this story, we get the Two of Cups in a side position. Now this could have to do with a very close connection. I feel like it's one who either they adore on you or you adore on them. And the traveler runs over here to under nothing will come of this situation. I feel like Gemini for this situation, they know where this abrupt kind of energy will take them. And as I say that, we have the Seven of Wands. And let's see. And this Seven of Wands, she looks like she's been in a trance. And she's really looking back at this traveler. Nothing will come of this situation. Is it a trance of old habits, old routines? And it doesn't even have to be our routines. It could be routines that we've learned, routines that we have inherited. And I hope this Gemini knows when it's getting into the foundation like that, it takes work, it takes patience, and it takes time. Everybody slips up and they pop off. Especially if you're one who's already, that's a way of defense. That's a way of dealing with when things start to go awry. Air signs have a hard time slowing down sometimes when they get riled up. So just making sure to take some deep breaths. Give yourself time to think. Give yourself time to think. And we have the Four of Swords. And on top of the Four of Swords, it's the King of Cups. What we're talking about is give yourself time to think. And the King of Cups, which could help bring a little bit of clarity to the unstableness of the emotions. And I wouldn't say it was so unstable. I said it's ruling. It's unstable, but it's also very ruling, entangling. You're not just being hit with emotions. This Gemini in this story is being entangled in them. And I feel like it's just what they're stuck on. It's what they're stuck on. But it's very dear to them. Very full of passion, full of love. And it's a pure thing. It's a pure intentions. It's pure emotions towards this connection. That's what I feel like for this Gemini. That's why it's so important. They know it's a pure connection. Like, if I travel down this road by myself, nothing's going to come of it. Nothing is going to come of it. I know what I have. But how do I navigate this? How do I navigate this? How do I set forth? That's what I'm hearing. How do I set forth in a new way? Geminis, theys, thems, sisters, brothers. It's just one step at a time. One step at a time. We get hung up in wanting to see the results. This is what's wanting to come out from ancestors. We get hung up in wanting to see results that we forget that the journey needs its own focus. Its own focus. If we're too busy focused on what we want, how we want to achieve it, and we want it now or as soon as possible, then we're not focused on the actual work that goes into it. We're distracted. We're distracted in the anticipation of the ideal outcome. And you don't get that if you're not focused in the immediate. You have to bring yourself out of the future or out of what results you want immediately. And let's be realistic, Gemini. Air signs are really good about thinking about the future. Air signs are really good at being impatient when it's a goal that they really want. And I feel like tearing up right now, and I feel like this connection is what they really want. They want the balance in it. They want to release the negativity. They know that it's going to come at the expense of them taking care of themselves in a new way, and bringing out themselves a little bit more. A little bit more. Wow, Geminis, I feel this. I feel how important this is to this Gemini. I feel it. I feel it. And if you feel like nobody else feels it, I can't be the only one. I can't be the only one. It's just a lot of times people have a lot going on in their lives. So just don't feel like you're on the back burner on purpose. Like this person doesn't really care, because again, this situation is about two people who adore each other. Or it's about a person who adores the place that they work at. This is a very adoring kind of energy. But again, it's passion and it's pure. It is pure. Then we have the Page of Coins. Page of Coins falls onto the Seven of Wands. Now, for this Gemini, is it acting a little immature? Or do you feel like what you're bringing in is not of full maturity? Then I would say you're being hard on yourself, because there's always time to grow. You don't have to go, if you know something's going to catch you up, don't go over there messing with it. Come on, we all know better. All right, Gemini. So this Page of Coins in side position, I'm getting a few things from this Page of Coins because it falls onto the Seven of Wands, and the Seven of Wands is looking at the Traveler. And this is all stuff that's not coming of that situation. And it could be that this Gemini feels like they're not bringing a full maturity to it. Their curiosities or the way they do things gets them caught up. So what I would say to that Gemini in particular is just be patient with yourself. Every new adventure, new chapter in life is going to be filled with adventure. Okay, but another thing is there's a past chapter where we didn't know all what we knew at that beginning. We didn't know what we know, what we're walking in with this new chapter with. So being forgiving of yourself for being immature, acting immaturely. It's okay. It's okay. I feel like this is something this one dwells on. And it could be even going back to, say, this is kind of what I've learned, There wasn't something governing me when I was young. And when I mentioned that, a Queen of Swords that comes through. So maybe, again, with this Gemini, they had to, even since a young age, had to learn how to be swift. Be swift. Get somebody first, then ask questions later. That used to be a saying back in the day, except for it was said a little differently. But I'm looking at this Queen of Swords and how it's reflecting back onto the Page of Coins. This goes into home. This goes into stability. How the foundation of that stability was built. And it was built on a very cutting energy. One that is either quick to cut you off if they don't like what you're saying. You don't come at them in a crazy way. And those kind of habits we can learn. We can learn, especially if that's just the type of parent or the type of environment you're growing up in. And you can try and harbor on being mad at that environment. Or you can see that you're acknowledging it and you're ready to move forward from that type of environment. So I know this Seven of Wands is really focused on this traveler and the road that they've been down or going down. If they continue or something, you know, if this doesn't work out. And then we have the King of Coins. Fall in the side position towards this connection, towards this stability. I feel like this connection is, in a sense, your little utopia. Let's really look at this. Let's see if it was in this side. Look at this, see if the camera will get it. See, that's all mountains, that's a waterfall. This stability is like its own little utopia. Just like a turtle, it has everything that it needs. Everything that it needs. And I'm going to bring this back because I want to show you. We're going upright. Look at that. And look at down way over here. There's a little person down there looking up at this King of Coins. I feel like this connection, because it could be with work as well, could be with a family member. It's a utopia of a connection. It's a utopia of the connection, one where it's adoring. You adore it. But it's habits of the past that I'm feeling like is on your mind right now. Habits of the past that were learned, habits that have been going on all your life since you were young. These are learned habits for this Gemini. Let's see. Now, as we talked about learned habits, what fell out first is the Moon in reverse. And then I have the Three of Wands in reverse. These cards are beautiful. Very pretty artwork in these cards. There we go. It's how emotions are viewed. That's what I'm getting at from the Three of Wands in reverse and the Moon in reverse. And what it is that we don't see or that's not being talked about is the Kings of Wands in reverse. But this is how it was a fiery energy. But it was not one of creation because it's in reverse. It's one of destruction. One of destruction. And here, I don't know if you can see it clearly with the camera quality right now. This is a person. It's just not a black speck. It's a person looking at this phoenix. And Phoenix is there. They are a rebirth, but it's also has fire energy. And if you make anything mad, or if anything is unevolved or not balanced, it's a destroyer. You got to handle it with even more care. You got to be careful. It's like with snakes. A rattlesnake, sorry if anybody has a snake phobia, but snakes, the younger they are, the more potent they are. I believe for the rattlers or for snakes, it's because they don't know how to, I would say, measure out their venom. The younger they are, they just kind of like, here, you can have it all. And the older they get, well, they realize, I guess, you don't have to use it all to take something down. It's my assumption. But with this, if you're always watching a destructive person, and that was the foundation of how the structure in the home should go for you, then that's okay. I say that's okay because now it's being looked at. It's being looked at. And this Gemini in this story is trying to work out of those habits. This is what's on the Gemini's mind right now, is I keep going down the same way that this sharp, destructive example has went, then I really risk losing a utopia of a connection. And I know it has to do with the way that I view motions, or how motions are dispersed. Kudos. That's a lot to think about. That is a lot to acknowledge for this Gemini. I say kudos. I mean, give yourself a pat on the back. A pat on the back. That's a lot of work to acknowledge. That is a lot of work to acknowledge. It's hard to acknowledge when the examples in your life were not the greatest, and you really start to see how they've affected you, what habits you've taken from them, how they've also, this can be interpreted as how this has dulled the creativity, because this energy is a very creative, high-flying energy. But when it's in reverse, it's low. It's low, it's destructive, it burns up a lot of stuff. It doesn't know at what range to fly. It doesn't know at what range to emanate its energy, how to focus it. And we can get examples in situations such as people, places, or things that will do that. And it will affect us. It will leave a lasting impression, especially if this happens at a very young age. All right, one more. Let's talk about the block. Let's talk about the block. That's a lot on the mind. That is a lot on the mind, but this is where the focus is at. And we have two scales out. That's Libra, wanting to bring balance. All right, and then we have the emotions are running high, supermoon. And there's also Scorpio. You got to remember, Scorpios feel a lot emotionally. Very, very sensitive, but in a good way too. Ace of Cups for the block falls onto the King of Cups in reverse and the Four of Swords in upright. The block is, I don't want to lose this connection. I don't want to lose my Ace of Cups. Rushing off into these old habits, I don't want to lose this. Anything else want to come out? The Chariot in reverse falls onto the moon. The moon in reverse, the Knight of, the King of Wands in reverse, the Lovers in reverse. How do I stop this? And then on the top is the Tower in reverse. How do we fall together? How does the situation fall together, not fall apart? Because this is the block. I'm hearing be honest with yourself. Be honest with yourself. It's a time to give rather than take. Be honest with yourself. Gemini, if you're overstimulated, you're overstimulated. It happens. It happens. Geminis are multitaskers. More than one thing on the plate going generally. More at one time. So if you're overstimulated, start to lessen the load. Start to lessen the multitasking. It's okay to put some projects down. It's okay to tell people, no, I can't do that for you today. Let them be to their own opinion. And this is what I see is a Six of Wands in reverse. And then you have the Page of Cups in the upright. So again, the block is, I feel like, has been looking in the direction of the old habits that have been learned. That habits that are, say, traditional almost. The habits that are in your community. Habits that are in your community. And that can go on a lot of different levels. It can go to family, but it also can go to the things that we surround ourselves with. So say if we're always watching a show where it's people popping off at every little second, stuff like that, then we're going to pick up some of those habits, or we are residing with that frequency. If you want to reside in other frequencies, then you have to step out of those frequencies and start surrounding yourself with other things. Things that are going to represent where you want to go. And I feel like this is a pull between what you know and where you want to go. Yeah, hanging on to the old things, or the whole old things hanging on to you. That could really have to do with a lot of family influence I'm feeling to bring up for this Gemini in this story. A lot of family influence there I'm feeling. But it's tradition. But it's tradition. But it's tradition. That's all I'm hearing with that card when I look at it. But it's tradition. Traditions are the traditions you want. The traditions are traditions that you have to keep. That just has to come out just in that way, because some traditions are not okay anymore. We can see how the laws have had to evolve over time. Even religion has had to evolve over time to be able to connect with people. So these traditions that this person is hung up about, they can look at it from a view of what is needed. What is needed? How do we want to build this? What direction do I want to go for this? And this is the 6 of coins. Do I want to be worried about everyone else? Or do I want to be singing my own song happy? Worried in what I built in the song that I'm singing, happy in the direction I'm going and in the song that I'm singing, proud of it. Proud of it. Anything else want to come out for the block? Anything else? This 6 of coins and sideways falls out onto the 6 of wands in reverse, the 4 of coins in upright, the 3 of coins. Somebody wants a bulldozer and they want to start all over again, and the stability that they have and the stability that they want to bring in. And this is a block because it comes down to the traditions. A lot of outside input. But I feel like this person is just very passionate to this situation. Very passionate. This is an intimate connection. We can have intimate connections with people, places, things. But this is an intimate connection. Angels are saying you gotta pray. You gotta get down with them a little bit more. Get down with them. Know that they're there. Know that you're not suffering by yourself. Just know that. And you're doing a great job. You're doing a great job, Gemini. All right. This reading actually has me flustered right now. This reading has me very flustered, and it's flustered in the third eye. Because it's a pull between left and right. You know how you have in the old cartoons that they had the devil on one side and the angel on the other? And I feel like this person is just trying to find a balance between the two. Because I'm going to say the devil's going to be the old traditions, the old habits that are not suiting this person. Whereas the angel is the direction of the way they really want to go in. The way they want to lead their life. And it's a straight pull between two. And it hurts. It hurts. It gives them a headache right here. It gives them a headache. What wants to come out? Divine energy and ancestors. What wants to come out for the block? What can we do? What can we do? What kind of positive messages are there? What kind of views does Gemini need to look into? Victim. And that falls onto the 6 of wands. In reverse, the 6 of coins, the 4 of coins. Victim. Don't be a victim to their game. You don't have to just let them sit around and harvest you. What's lucky for this acorn is it has arms. So it could definitely get going. It can get going. But I feel like it feels like it has no choice. Especially when it falls onto this card, the 6 of wands. It has no choice in my community. I have no choice. And then I have vanity. Vanity. Who is this really about? Who is this really about that wants to come out? Who is this really about? Because you have 2 peoples that are spectating, 3 people that are spectating, and then you have another one who's trying to get a message across. Who's trying to get the message across. And he's pointing over here to the victim. Is it that you've been trying to get your message across to these people? But it's like, you tell them it and they're just like, do. It's like forgotten because these people are drinking and celebrating. So sometimes when you tell people stuff and they celebrate and they're doing their own thing, they live in their life celebrating themselves, they ain't gonna remember stuff. And then I have impatience. That means it's time to practice patience. It's time to practice patience because this did fall out in reverse. And sometimes I will read them like that. And to me, it's time to practice patience. It's time to get down with yourself. And it could be being a little vain. Show up, tell them, hey, I'm here. And I bring some stuff to the table. And what I'm focused is, I believe this is throat chakra right here, this colored blue. Speaking up. But don't do it going blah, 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 blah. Come in looking like, hey, I know what I'm talking about. And you know what? Y'all are going to listen. Y'all going to listen because you've been already contemplating on it. You've seen how this has grown. Again, you've seen the direction. How do you want to address it? For this Gemini, I'm hearing, how do you want to address it? How does this negativity need to be released? Who or what is it that you have such a close connection with that makes you want to work in a new direction? Want to bring in the most of yourself. I feel like the finest point of yourself. But this isn't the finest point. This is just another peak. You want to hit another peak of doing it up. It's like it's your destiny. And you feel it. But with every climb, it's bittersweet. It is bittersweet. Especially if we're still holding on to some thoughts around things. Again, this person is not happy about that cake. Maybe they on the keto. Maybe they are vegan and this wasn't made as a vegan cake. Maybe they're not vegan and this is because it was made as a vegan cake. They don't want it. You got people who don't want certain things because of certain labels or certain things, or they're allergic to stuff, you know. It's bittersweet. Okay? But maybe it's getting over the attachment, the idea to this, and just understanding it's a cake. It's a cake. You know, yes, I'm going to consume this cake. Yes, it's going to be high in calories, but maybe it's going on an extra walk. Yes, it's a vegan cake. I don't like vegan cake. Maybe I'll just try a little bit of a piece, or I'll politely just excuse myself from it. It's a bittersweet. Knowing that for this Gemini, that yes, old habits were learned at some point. And these old habits are keeping you from what you want. It's okay to acknowledge that we're not coming in at our best. But that's what makes this bittersweet, is because you're almost at the top and you can see this. It's your destiny to reach up on this peak. It's your destiny to see this. It's been your destiny to think about this, to harbor on it. Just like it's going to be your destiny to come in and be a little vain. Show up. Let people know who you are. And you're going to do it in a patient manner. Because you're going to come at them with wisdom. Because you're not going to be their victim. Whew. This was a big reading, Gemini. Take the good with the bad. That's what I'm hearing to say. It's just a moment. It's just a moment. And it's already forecasted that there's a win-win. It's already forecasted that this connection that really means a lot to you is going to go into a more balanced cycle, into a new moon, a new way of going. Yes, the emotions are high, but guess what? There's a vision that you have. It's a vision that you have, and it's time to release what isn't yours anymore. What isn't yours? You can grow out of those inherited traits. Because once you do that, you're going to show up your true version of you. 100% you all the way. Just remember, keep taking care of yourself. If you're feeling overstimulated, that's okay. Take a few things off of your plate and set them aside for another day. It's okay to say no to others. It's okay to say yes to taking care of yourself. Now, if them babies need a meal cooked for them, cook them that meal. Go buy them a pizza or something so you don't have to bust out some dishes or something. But there's ways that you can lessen your loads at times. All right, Geminis. Thank you, wonderful community. Curious community. Adaptive community. Have a great rest of your day.